Hey, how we doing? Beautiful day today. So I went out and looked at a drill press that I ended up not buying, but I scored some other pieces. Nothing big, nothing crazy, but this is a single hand planer. It's a Stanley, and I'm gonna take it apart, clean it all up. It's got a nice size wooden handle. It's in fairly good shape. And the only one that I've seen of this style is this. Alright, so I bought this from the guy that had the drill press for sale that I passed on. The drill press was an older one, but it needed way too much work. I'm not afraid of it, something needs work, but the base of it was all rotted real bad. You know, when you pulled down the lever to get it to go down, it was real tight. Everything on it was janky. It didn't have any return spring or anything like that. It was just too much work. Wasn't worth it. So I passed on it, and I'm not afraid to pass on it. If something isn't right, I'm just not going to get it. If it needs too much work, I'm not going to get into it. Anyways, these three vices I got from a different seller, and this guy lives on a dirt road. He's about a mile into the woods. You know, he told me there's an orange cone, turn in there. And he's got like a bunker. It's like all these little buildings, and he's got a ton of stuff on his property. It's cool. It's a nice wooded area. There's a river nearby, and I got a great deal on these vices. So I would say they're medium-sized vices, or they're nothing huge, which is fine, but they're unique. Okay, so let's go ahead and check them out. First one here is a Parker 63.5. I like that lettering there. Swivel base, and that has a, I don't know if that's a chisel. I don't know the terminology on that. Looks like the original paint. It's kind of like a maroon color. It's got typical rust. All three of these work. They open and close fine. So I'm not going to get into that. But that blue one that I have is similar looking to this. Very similar, but this is cool. And I'm a big fan of Parker vices for sure. So we'll go ahead and clean this thing up and figure out a color combo on it. And it looks like it's a 4-inch jaw. I would say 3.5 to 4. Well, it says 63.5, so maybe it's a 3.5. That would make sense. Anyways, next up, this is a Lakeside 27, and it's also a swivel vise, and it's got this little lever there. That's kind of cool, and a little anvil, and this looks like it's about 3.5 or 4 as well. I'm guessing 4, but we'll see. And it's just an older piece. It's cool, you know. I like it. Vices are probably my favorite tool item. I don't know why, but I think they are. And this is cool. It looks like it was red and black, and of course this is painted. Slide area, and it looks like it was green at one point as well. I don't know why people paint these. It makes no sense. I hate it when I see a vise and everything is painted. The handle, everything. Like they pulled out a can of spray paint and just painted the entire thing. I don't know why people do that. It makes no, like if it's a metal on metal contact area and there's any metal on metal friction, like why would you paint that? It would make it harder for it to move. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I don't think so. All right, so the last one is slightly bigger than the other two. Now this is a Amco, and you can see the anthol mass there. Let's flip it over. Amco 71. All right, and there's some unique features on this vise, obviously. Well, maybe not so obvious to some of you, but this here is extra work. Okay, extra work went into that, which I appreciate. I think it's cool. The screw is exposed. it's not typically like that. This one is a little bit, but they're usually hidden. So that's exposed. That's kind of cool. This is a pretty heavy vise. And then last, the mounting system. It's not like it has holes. I mean, I know how I'm going to mount it, but there's no holes or whatever. And it's a fixed base unit. But it's got to be a 4-inch jaw on there. And they look like they're permanent jaws. I don't think they're removable. But that's the haul for today. I got some stuff I'm picking up tonight. And I apologize to the one viewer who left a comment, and he wanted me to touch base on how I get into my tool finding and whatnot, and my tricks. Really, it's just I used to be on more on Facebook or Marketplace and Craigslist. I used to be on it like multiple times a day, but lately it's just like it comes to me. It's really hard to explain, but it's like the stuff just comes to me. One thing that I do is, if I find an item that I want to go check out, all right, I get a feel for it right away. Like, do they have other things for sale? Just that one item. And then when I get there, I strike a conversation up with the seller, and I let them know what I do and what I buy, and if there's anything else that they're getting rid of, tool related, and that often leads to me being in a barn, and I'm making a pile of stuff that I want, and the next thing you know, I have it all. And one thing that I do is I don't give a price first. I let them give a price, no matter what. That's just the way I do it, and that's the best way, because there's been a few times where I had a number in my head that I was going to give that I thought was fair, and their number was lower than that, so I would have paid more. So I always tell them, shoot a price at me and we'll go from there. So if the price isn't right, you just don't buy it. If it's not something that you shouldn't have to even question it. Like, you shouldn't get home and be like, well, is it really worth it? It should be like a no-brainer. It's a deal, it's a deal. And if it's not, move on, because there's a ton of people selling tools, a ton of deals that are out there. It's a matter of just finding that right person. But, there's certain, I can tell right away, if they pull their phone out and they start pulling up eBay ads, it's not good, So get an idea of like how they are on their prices. Are they firm? Are they trying to get rich? Are they trying to get a retail price? Some people have an inflated idea of what their stuff is worth. Yeah, I check Craigslist, check Facebook. I run an ad in the wanted section, and it's a simple ad. It says, hi, I'm a local tool collector, and I do restorations and work on stuff as a hobby, and I'm looking to find rusty or old tools that you may not want anymore, and purchase them. And I get a lot of traffic through that, because there's people that need money out there. And, there's a ton of people out there that just want to just give the stuff away, more or less. So you just got to find those types of people. But the wanted ad helps. Marketplace is more of a recent thing for me. I was only doing Craigslist for the longest time, but I think Marketplace right now for me in my area has more traffic than Craigslist. So I've been doing a lot on there. So really just got to ask, and people know that what I do and that I like tools. So I get people that inquire all the time. Like, I'm going tonight. A girl I went to school with, I've been friends with her for about, 25 years. Her grandma is local to my area, and she has a ton of stuff for sale. And, it's her husband passed away a while ago. So my friend got a hold of me, and I already went and checked out the stuff, and I'm going back tonight to get it. There's a really old, big Zenith radio. It's this huge old radio, and it's got a really nice cabinet that it's in, and it's cool looking. I'm gonna try to fix it up and have it in the house. But there's that. There is a generator. It's an older model, but it's unique. I hope that I can get it home tonight. But it's very cool. I'll definitely show you what it looks like. There is a Robbins & Myers 1-ton chain hoist that I'm going to pick up. And there's a couple odds and ends. There's a vise, a bench grinder, an old power drill. Listen, if you're like really into this, like buying rusty tools, collecting tools, always buy bench grinders if they're cheap. You can never have too many of them. Always buy vises. They're worth their weight in gold. But yeah, so there's some small odds and ends pieces, and I'll definitely do a video showing you that. All right, so what we have here is some rust removal going on. Now this is I did a batch last night. I dumped the buckets, cleaned up the bars, whatnot, flipped the pieces around. This is the post vise that I have, and it has a ton of rust, everything else, and I'm gonna do this, get it clean, wire wheel it, take a look at the metal. So I got some parts done already. I'm gonna get these going and flip them around, whatnot. I did it overnight, and the amount of rust. I set this up a half an hour ago, and you can see the amount of rust already coming off. I mean, it's unbelievable. So bigger pieces like this, it's like you're gonna get covered in rust and dirt and everything else, or do it like this, and it's a little cleaner. So those are going on. They're just hanging out. My Porter Cable dustless take-about sander needed brushes for the longest time, and a pair of brushes fell in my lap. So I have it. The brushes replaced. The caps are on there, and I tested it, and it runs now. So I never had this running. I got it, and it didn't run, and that's fine. I cleaned it all up. I knew it was the brushes. I figured it would work. But these things are super collectible. These take-abouts. They're called the locomotive. The locomotive sander is what they refer to it as. And where is that piece? There's a piece. There it is. Yeah, the top plate. Yeah, I got a replacement cord that's going to be going on. This is the top plate. Obviously, it's got the on-off toggle switch. There's a badge, so that goes on there. I'm missing the bag. There's a bag that goes on there, catches all the sawdust. I'm gonna make one. I'm probably gonna make one, or find one that's already made, and convert it to this. I'm just gonna find out what color it was, and at least get the correct color. It's not gonna be a Porter Cable bag, but I'm not gonna spend $100 on a bag on eBay. And I imagine that it's probably somewhere in that area price-wise, so I'm not doing it. I'm just gonna make one and Bob's your auntie. What else? Just random projects going on. I'm juggling a lot of stuff. This is a cabinet that I scored out of that barn, and I'm not sure if I showed it. I must have. Anyways, it's got brass hardware. I think I showed this. Brass hardware, really cool looking piece. The only issue is that the bottom of it was rotted. This thing sat in a barn and for years. So the bottom wood was rotted. So what I did is I cut away all the rotted pieces, right? And ripped off the bottom board. So what I'm going to do is put a replacement board on that, paint it black to match, and we'll be done. The rest of it's solid. So I want to have this thing hanging on the wall and use it in some sense. It just looks like a barn. So I like the brass pieces as well. That's really it. I'll keep you in the loop on any more scores. But for now, I got to get back to something or other here. Thanks for watching. As always, I appreciate you. And enjoy the weather. It's beautiful out here today. Thanks.